Hello and good day everyone. Welcome to another Excel VBA tutorial, and this is just a continuation of our VBA string discussion. And here we have another scenario, and we are going to create another tool to have this scenario automated. Okay, so I think we can now begin. So here I have the list of results that we are going to process. So what the tool will do is to get this status, the name, the age, and job title of each result. So if you will do that manually, you need to highlight each status, each name, put it to that field here, and the job title in here. So imagine if you have a 1000 results and you need to get each status, each name, and each age, and each job title. How long would it take for you to finish those? So that's just a sample scenario, and using VBA we will make that process easy. Okay, so to begin with, let me just start with adding column here, but before that, make sure to save this workbook first. So if you want to copy this, please do so before we start coding. So I can think of any name for this tool, so I'll just name it String Manipulation VBA2 for now. And again, make sure that you will save that file with the .xlsm extension or Excel macro enabled workbook, and then hit save. And now let's start adding column names. So the first column will be for the status, and then we have one for name, age, and of course the job title. And then let's just add some design on it. So I think name should be long. Okay, and let's just copy the same font and background color. Okay, and I think it's better to add borders as well. Okay, so another thing is make sure to rename the worksheet. So string, I'll just name it string for now, so we can easily identify the name of this worksheet instead of the sheet 1. Okay, so make sure to open your Excel VBA editor. Again, you can do that by going to the developers tab and click Visual Basic, or you can simply press Alt F11 in your keyboard. So okay, so let's start by adding new module. So insert and module, and let me just view my properties window. Oops. Okay, and I will name my module string manipulation. I'm not sure if that's how you call that, but when we are dealing with string functions, we usually call it string manipulation. Okay, so I will create a new sub here. So I think it's better to name it get data, but you can name yours to whatever name you want, as long that you will not be using a reserved or Excel VBA reserved words. Okay. So again, in each tool that I am doing, the first thing that I think it's always better to start with defining the worksheet you are working on. So for here, I will declare my worksheet first. So I will name mine the my sh or my sheet as worksheet, and then let's set that to this workbook, that sheets string, because that's the name of the worksheet we will be using in this example. So just an advice, just another best practice is when you are declaring a worksheet, always use the this workbook term, because sometimes the VBA is confused, especially when you have multiple Excel files open there and you try to run your tool, but you did not notice that the Excel in front of your tool is different, or having different worksheet tabs. So you might get an error when you encounter something like that. But anyways, so here I think after we declare our worksheet, the next thing that we need to do is to create a loop that will go from row 3 to the last row with value. So we will declare a variable here and we will call it result, as that is what it will hold. So dim, okay, so dim results as string, and let's initialize its value to null. And now let's create our loop. So I will be using a variable a, and it will start with row 3. So the initial value of a will be 3, and then it should this loop should work until the last row with value. So the short way to do that is mysh.cells rows.count, and since we are referencing column a, we will be using the column indexed 1 that end xlap.row. Next a. So I always uh, tell that, or I always suggest that is a best practice that whenever you are using a for loop statement, a do until or do while statement, even an if and else and if statement, make sure to always close it first before you add anything on it. Okay, because when you are dealing with a super nested loop, you might forget that you did not add the end statement for that. So here, so in our loop, the first thing that we are going to do is to assign the value of this selected cell to our variable result. So result is equals to mysh that range a and a dot value. So I think we can now test that. So by pressing F8 in your keyboard, so the first result is the status is pending, the next result is progress, and well, it's short, but if you want to view that using your immediate window, you can just simply do this. So that's the current result value, but when we go on the another loop and we try to check the result, it's already in row 6. So it's correct, it's completed, job rebellion 42H. Okay, so I think we made the first objective of the loop correctly. So the next thing that we need to do is, I think we can now start capturing data for this string. And how are we going to get the status here? Okay, so in string manipulation, it is the first thing I think that you need to observe is that if there is a standard pattern that you can use in capturing data. Like in this one, you can see that each result is following the standard pattern. So we can use that pattern in getting the information that we only need. So for example, in order to get the status in this cell, which is pending, what we are going to do is to get the position of the status label and then get the position of the name label. Then once you get the position of those two, you will make a formula to get the difference between those two positions, and then that's how we are going to get this status. If you are confused, if I were not able to explain completely, I hope you get it in this code. So again, so the first objective that we need to do is to get the status. So again, as I said, I need the position of the status label and a position of the name label. So I will declare two variables, status position as long, and I'll initialize its value to 0. Then the next one is name post as long, and initial value is 0.